There's a new update from your favorite GSM operator, AfriCell.
For all of you that have struggled to buy cash power beyond $7,000, AfriCell has done it again. The limit to buy cash power is now up to $30,000. Oh yes, $30,000.
Buy all the cash power you want from your AfriMoney account by dialing *777#.
Where AfriCell goes, nobody dares to follow.
It's an amazing offer. AfriCell mobile money just got way better. The threshold for cash in and cash out on your AfriMoney has been increased.
Where it used to be 10,000 per transaction, now it has been increased to 30,000. Meaning, your AfriMoney account, you can now withdraw and deposit up to $30,000 at once.
Cashing in and out just got 3 times easier. For more info, call 777.
Where AfriCell goes, nobody dares to follow.
Traveling has never been this simple in the Gambia. Oh yes, you don't need to visit the GTSC depot just to get a ticket. Just download the Yona Wallet app today and enjoy hassle-free bookings. With Yona Wallet, you can buy your GTSC bus ticket right from your phone, anytime, anywhere. From Kanifing to Dakar, Dakar to Banjul, or up-country routes like Kanifing to Basse and Basse to Banjul, Yona Wallet has you covered. No queues, no stress. Just safe, fast, and convenient ticketing at your fingertips. Choose comfort. Choose convenience. Choose GTSC with Yona Wallet. Yona Wallet. Your money, your way. GTSC. Moving the nation forward. For more information, please call 1124 or 221-1668.
Diwli lanni maro lanni
fop lanni
awa joni mi anda honno gerde ten e ngaldo sabu e ngaldo Ibrahima jonnal taw joni mi anda se yahay kapitiki nyawloden ha humpondire makko est ce qu'on non e warude
waden no
ane ko de Ibrahima ma ko to woni
mo Amerique
ko America woni kare humpitaki fi be musibe men baluwo be andanda kala ko wada wonde aduna si arrivi e juude mabbe a jonnay do dépassement Gambia har no weebi aya ta kadi taw ko mbudi din no jawi walla no jippi be halantama ko kala ko falda ko reise sengo nyamete il nebba maro basal pomme de terre kala ko rewi don a hendo to har no weebi kadi wona dum don tu be abe jonnira mobile phone siko dum kadi laptop kala ko wayrode di ay kasbawa be wawma jonnude kadi sa wala umpitade ko weebi ƴettu Google account ma joni data ton wada download app mabbe on ayay kala ko humpi ma e mabbe ton be weebi yama
ka wonda woy aduna on
kala ko wawda
a jonnanay wondo ka leydi men Gambia do dépense
harano weebi yama si dum no fono nebi immoden joni mi dotama ka place mabbe jano
waden joni
iya heba ko fala
waden kisam
Jamano Money Transfer Bureau de Change, your go-to option when it comes to money transfer. With Jamano, you can send money from anywhere in the world to your family and loved ones in the Gambia and be sure the funds will be delivered to them within the shortest time possible. For your convenience, funds sent through Jamano Money Transfer can be picked from all the banks and multiple other financial institutions, including Ajib Bank, Trust Bank, GT Bank, Mega Bank, Basic Bank, Reliance Financial Services, and Approved Services. Visit our head office at Bruceby opposite AfricMed next to Trust Bank Limited or email us at info@jamanomt.com. You can as well call us on 310-3050 or 310-3051 or yet still 733-0688. Our opening hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Saturday and 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday. Jamano Money Transfer, your most trusted money transfer service where customer satisfaction is paramount. When you think of a simple, fast, and reliable money transfer, think Jamano Money Transfer.
ala baraka bake tel mi yalon ko ka kerfatu jibe mi yalon ko wolem programme to mi yalon ko wolem politique kacate min kanal ye talata ka botalan nani kata woy sandula ka jiwer lal be tentu ke jayi ka fala ala baraka bake alka wato min ta ka bula ñi programme o ñino ma côté ke afele mortanan talata lungolem kana ka programme di yalla memo politique kacate dama yalon ko be ko wol jibe la mi yalon ko wolle be kerim banko ñi kanya bar komi ndal daka ke nyamen drom jamal bi ka politicien wala na fina pour nga politiko kaca bar bi ma simfanya côté muta mol mi yalon ko to wol ka ko le neutral cap wala men yalon ko be tema andu wanya ma fanka ko wol bondi mole ñoto politiko be banko lo do ko wala ko nanda ko mayata bake pour nga jibe kaca ko wala mi yalon ko wala be dendi wo fanna ñina wala ya sabo ka mon nga mol na fina pour nga kaca ku jamal la men be dendi banko la politiko la karola maralo kenya nen ku côté mol mi yalon ko e banko dingol sula banko ñin kanje ku jamal be keri banko ñin kan be kono president wala banko be muro mi yalon ko ay kunya fulan jango ñing ay wala damuta e batar la ko député bu ngom be ñin tembe mendo e be kacha kam banko la dépense la karola ministère hame kayto landi ñako pour ka ji jari sango membe kala banko la dépense ri woko na je batar la ko député wala hamo soro pour que la jol dafa ani ku ko temol mi yalon ko wala be dendi wo karo ñin nambe wol jibe la baake akabunda November karo kono a fadula ambe suti yaka wala former president Yaya Jammeh aya kankulale kabina nyin karo nyine kono abinale patina mol bijende mi yalango ebe mako ila pour ngo wol pondale nyoto baki anu wonyama janni be finti la studio kono be manda be ngotala pour kala no yele atel mi yalango albe jibiro la pour aleke moti mi yalango alfanan sal dabula programme nyin ko mo fennete mi yalango akuma yata baki bay kamonda tel la ko wakati nan ka sijang anwal kal dabula programme nyin kono nyama amu fennete mi yalango adiyata nya wonyama bi ni men yalango ko ni wala be studio kono membe mbala tengo mo honorable Demba Ali Jawolde former minister of information veteran journalist wala mo bem fi studio nyin kono ka faya baraka baki anara programme to nyame Mr. Biran Gai ate mo lecturer at the University of the Gambia mi yalla ko ka karandiro ke membe denni politiko la tamandiri nyala ji and wanyama ba politiko bondi la mole nyoto bake mi yalla ko wala be denning o fanna nyina wanyama Mustapha Manneh ate mo investigative journalist wala ma research le fana mari abe mako ele ka fu mole kombo sa tundo nyinka kamonda ku jamal bije mi yalon ko wolle be kirim banko nyi nga nematale o mo fennete mi yalon ko mo bi ka wososo nga nye jamal soro ba ko non na dafe gol mi yalon ko wolle ben na jiol kono ila kenyal be nyaadi la nin ku jamal bije men be dendi wo fanna nyina wo kono anin pata wo fanna nyina belayno jella la telefona mi yalon ko albe jibiro la al yake multi mi yalon ko al yel dabula programme nyi kono ko de kal jeyi kal tendu ka fale ko albe kerfatu le jibe kan sainteng mi yalon ko fang wala na studio kono jan sainteng wonyama ba akomasi la drone ning Mr. Biran Gai la pra jibiro la konto janni kadum programme nyi kono. Thank you so much Mr. Gai for coming to the program. Good to have you.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Jawo. It's indeed a great pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Good, thank you. Honorable Abaraka Baki pour une new platform ici ñu ko ko deke kamunda famara interview la. Thank you so much for coming.
Abaraka Baki Ibrahim. Nkontanta bake pour ngama be la new platform total. Thank you.
Thank you. Mustapha man do ko ñoldi and wanyama refana mo kibata laldi ka fa baraka baki nara programme ro nyama men ka bulana programme dol no may wala na ko amankel dun tamade pour ka na programme ñi nga bari nginam signa flo da si kam pie jang pour nga ñim programme ñi kam Mustapha, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much. Baraka baki mala mo lalbe content. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you. Mr. Gai, about President Adama Barrow amu multi mi yalon ko kamenda Mr. Gai atama manika ka mo ba but you know we see how we fix this one, you know, and it's gonna work. So President Barrow amu multi mi yalon ko 14 days till tanin nani to wala ke atara rural Gambia me musanto to you know I meeting all kije saying second leg of the tomb but wala economy yalon ko wala toning na kunya fulan jango nyinde. Mr. Gai, what do you made up from the meet the people to so far? I think we are now 16 days or 17 days into the tour.
Yeah, I think just like many people have highlighted about the nature of Meet the People tour, it is without a doubt that it is a legitimate act, something that is backed by law, the Constitution of the Gambia, where every year the President of the Republic go on a tour meeting with farmers and the people, getting feedback as to what is the state of nature in terms of how the country is being administered. And I think it is also an opportunity for the president to give or to get feedback, first-hand information from what people are facing across the state. So I think it is very important on paper that the president go out on a tour to interact with people and also get feedback that can help inform government decisions or government actions. But nonetheless, we've seen that over the years, especially during the time of President Jammeh, the tour has been heavily politicized, and everybody knows that. And also, President Barrow, in my opinion, is also flowing on the same footing with Jammeh. I was discussing with somebody and I said, I think this is the biggest scoop for the NPP political party, in a sense that other political parties will have to lobby for funds and campaign during elections. But MPP's campaign before the election has been paid for by taxpayers' money because of the nature of the tour, the caliber of people that are attending the tour, the people that are following the president. There is no differentiation between government and politicians in the tour, which I think is a fundamental error. It is erroneous in that aspect. What I believe the tour seek to achieve is for government to have a direct interaction with people, and therefore politics should be aside. So in my own judgment.
So you bury then they want to like the president is a natural politician. The minister they are politicians. So you cannot separate them and politics together. So obviously President Besugi fuck with politics, because it is true that he is going to get re-election. You see,
political parties exist for a reason. The sole purpose of political parties is to contest and win elections. Now the activities of parties are independent from the activities of government. Once you are elected by the people, your mandate is to serve the people. That's why during elections, political parties will take a different tone, detach themselves from government. But over the years, what we've seen, it is very difficult to delink between government and political parties. And that's the same culture that also continues under the current dispensation.
So, but if you look at the constitution, but then they feel like the constitution is so open. So it opened doors for the president to introduce politics in this store, in a sense that there is no part of the constitution that limit him not to go beyond that mandate, like what is stated.
No. I think Meet the People tour is very clear. It is a constitutional provisions where the president and government officials interact with those that they serve. Now, mind you, I am not here to criticize whether the tours will take place or not. The format and the methodology is what I disagree with. Okay? You listen to the tour, the first message that the president will give is personal attack against politicians. Like as a Gambian and as a farmer in my village, I have no interest in knowing what happens to the UDP, what happens to Lawyer Jawo, what happens to SO5. I'm interested in knowing what government is doing, the policies that government is bringing to my location. So I think that is the purpose of the tour.
So what's funny is sometimes like President
and that is the funniest part. It's as if people do not still understand the relevance and significance of this tour. I was talking to somebody else and I also reiterated the same thing. Like it seems people are more interested in listening to personal attacks rather than what government has to offer or what government is doing. Government will say we've been building this, like nobody cares to listen. But once you go personal, mischaracterization of one another, that is where people seek to pay most attention to. But that is not how politics ought to be in a real sense. And therefore for me, politics in the Gambia has been dysfunctional and distorted for a very long period of time. And subsequent government, I'm not saying Barrow is the first doing it. Jammeh was even doing worse than Barrow, maybe to some extent. But it is the same format and the same manner in which all of them are doing it.
So, Honorable, coming the 14 days, President Barrow be talking, memo banku be muru wanyinde coming ko banku maral kitabo le abula praya ke. So I till tani nani kela mutana sa ngamira till fulawo sabakela kombo jando kata dulalto to nyi yade nyade
abarka ba ke Ibrahima gaye men fo to nyin luale adiala so sang at least sinya killing anyanta ka banko murumuro aring selendal aning banku meno be santo to ye kacha dal bari ay mem fo fanan to nyalem to a betata bake bari yake nyame sai kabirin ya jamela watu aning president Barrow fangola nying to akamenke ya politicize bake aboko politiko le sembo soto katambi fango fenti ikajele nitol bita ikamasa kundala moto jamale different institutions bulu ke samba adunia jibe 90% o motol be NPP kolle ka travel motol kono ibe wondala munanda wolbe bita nyin tola because nyin to amanyan na kila politic court president nyanda tala ani famali kacha ila problem mol mumunti ate fanang itol sajibe ibe mun kala put pari for gaye fo ka masa kundala kodota mol bela kodo ka kafun kafu sadi particular wakata campaign kela fair definitely
so but NPP la ka karola ba jela ko dolbe jetel ka fo wolem metal mantara ka campaign ke luwa fo be wolta mandi kam bari te president woni politico talandinola because advisor ye wala fo se kumbalo ako president Barrow mo politician wala dan witane politico ka men diamo mo le men wala tururi election lem atasi development wona fe nam banko kam pour ka fole al carte o fanya he doesn't think that is politics
mo to nya atle mo chief politician ni banko kam bari yalong politico fanang inyanta men kela wala mo bela kodo imanyana utala kela ka campaign kela party wala problem wala to asi politique kacha kele wote atabali no la wala but the thing is I'm fair definitely ka ajibe ko ibe ba fola ko kari botanang party sangam anatan na party tenin ibita jana ba fola mole ko alkana kari elect next time ala bondian warning definitely warning
so
ala ala character and ala
back in 2017 President Barrow nunto Tony naba ke kan I remember anana benonga fo kan ne ko mol be ko ni oppositional nata nan ala fo e banku do ko wala be kerin tellement politico nyaso but it's like coming format ning I menke might be back in 2017 or 2018 anen saying abe mankang e fadatal doban is it because sembo ning akamonda ba sularing ala bake wala na ay format nyim falim ba o probably mol de be mi yalan ko ya yitanda ko rebe silo menkam o defense la ngakete.
Yeah, tenga mera asike no woti. Yalo nyajibe barola masakunda sai. Jamela molbe siara konole. Ibe siara kono. Boko itolle a faeko intol ka kenun tenne fo akete wole effective. Tenga mera asike no wo nyam. But definitely akata ma nyame sai. Ani silo manta dal ani morality. Min nyanta kela ama oke dal tenga jibe dal. Nyanta falin nale pour at least isi molla problemol ke nyato janibe politiko dundila je ka abako wala symbol siata je bakeda
Mustapha ba tar la tojin kono in URR President Barrow ngaje mol mi yalan ko wallem hontalde men mu danoldi wol findita nan no ngini bambo ye bambo landi moto kan ina be yayi kanje but man sakunda man na diamo ban NPP diamo dala ka wol be coming wo mo bunyalti rek mi yalan ko yadi president wala bare minister of information na findita ne ako men yalan ko wolle president criticize bo bamba ko nyine wol fa male ka men criticize because mo nyama bamba tiol je be bambo di kam president wala so you alba condemn kan ka fo president o ye bambo le diala and wo nyama fa manya ka muta so ka wo kumol dimba ko men be president criticize in fact nyanda ka apologize la because mo ma je bambo di kangala anda fana ya muta dane mun mi na tekto
yalon bambo ya di wato min ya samba dami fana wo mu barola bendulalti andon kabiring ibadi kan afanya mi mo ma je ibadi kan barola but nyim manke sim fa foloti follow ya min di ala wala mu fongot hipo nyinde kabiri ya malo nyindi ala ay malo nyimu dala fa fangolo je ye nata and wona ralo findera bandal anu ne ajibe ko bin kamin fo bi Gambia badam iba solar climate finance la bakel if intra dawda e call for ko na nyimman bete wala climate ba mantoro kam climate change mantoro kam bakel ala falon alim ma ko do pour so wode da anu fon jamale be naka so wo banku kino yaje e ka malodi present wala sai wulta ko de ke al campaign do because honestly nyim midda people to woni farmers on tajo ko men campaign wala because amanke do mi alon ko nka famal je fango je kela problème fo je wala mol kela problème mo kamen ko e ka bulol ko sai ka fa ko baraka because al diamo fa mina fa ko ay mol jale la miliyalon ko imafo ay do ko min ke kunu bare bi ba fengol nyenti man ka bol so minin ada kam min ka man ko ma suro de ke la moy wala problème wala ba la fa min ka jal ko min ka afa barakato but minister nyata kam min faham wala ñu de follow ko Gambia science and na image wala ñaati anyanta ka hakilu to do bagra seconding anara ñing da fengol la karola follow kabiri malo di president wala mam moje mi alongo kabo masakunda ka ave comme president wa nyim minke am state wala amanya ka accept wo danna kilin wala nada ka bambo dia do danna kilin wala malo dia so ni bambo fanam fena ba fala ko ya fena tale andum bambo nada damendo mobe ya jele ko bambo ba motola sando andum bambo nyim fan afara ando naji be gambe la luato ay molu balele puru iko BNC falfa because be mi alongo ni ajibe amanyan nakafa so ko fa kadi president wala andung fenno fo mi yalon ko nsa fo dron momo yalon ko imu banko nyaron ko inyande ke fo distanal completely fo
but I remember is that not a point to say okay president ye gift le diala me yalon ko wala bambo di bari de bambo je mo ro kan damale maje ba bambo di kam barola dame so it means that matter
bari press coming bin ba min foka wala president wa accept wala ma accept min keda wala aketa la bendulal and min kumara wala nyande ko government na nyanda kabiri mal falal mile malofa ime samba code because wala nyanda ka arrest la force and secondly nyanda ke kidin de kaje comme ye malofa min na ye loi ye lay kan ko loi nyanda ka lay kan bar wo manke follow so ni naje bambo na da ko de wo president killing wala mid the people to then ba follow ko president ya fena wala anu safero min kada kabiri bambo na wala nyande ko hontal comme danolu wolle nada ka nyindi president fo ya dial a moto ama moto bar wolla fen ba niaje ka fengo sabana moy ika nyala suute ala folo ya nyala suute parol annun kabir wo kada fo bi ma moy ko ye wala arasle wala ma moy ko ye sambal luwato le annu ma moy ko president o million ko nga ala kan farande kaje ko min Gambia la nyin na nyin how do you call it na nyin beyangodu
nyama fengol
mo ma nyane ke fa but mo woje so obviously mba falo ko man sakunda contanda nyinal anum president o man nyin ko bay
okay wala janni binalan janni bita woto betam bila woto nyin bambol mi yalan ko mul ko wol e ba jele ko santo to modol bije wala balu be denni wala so they see it very normal pour que nyim be yangol nyin ka wol fa dol fa biye ka ke kende yarangol de comme ça fon tele nyim fanu so ni la feka kuntu mol nim be yam faté ma dol sa fa la feka kuntu ni balu wol tema de e be num balu ka wala so wala na yadi president ba
wo mu tonyalde bare han sain Gambia la loi boko nyin anin dunia be la loi boko wala nyina nyina nyim men fengol la wo BNC falu amanya na kafa coming sako ka fa ka di president wala mi yalon ko atelem banko nyaron ko comme amang Gambia ni nyande dal because kabin na dal findira ande mal ende because kabin na dal findira kafu nyoma do nimbil kabe international platform wala jeng ko man le ko nyefu nyimu to nyalde nko to nyalo de nko ko nyim manke follow nko ko yesamola follow dial imagine ya malo ko dia imagine ite no mol benda ikaje ko ite le president ite kamin fon dia mo nyinde ko nan na be yangol tanka nan mol ikaje ko ite fon la mansa ke mi yalon ko wala nyande ka sample set wo fanka will accept so to me is a big shame for the country and numbaro na la molu nyande ka sample set la mol mi yalon ko wolle wo fa nyande ke samana loi nyatlo andu loi e min tandila ya tandila wo mol mi yalon ko wolle ka balwala isa fono wala ko molu nyanda ka karandiro la fa wolto because mol meda men da bare nyato ko ba nyindol mi ba ko ma han sen karandiro nyanda ka la fa kan la ko nyum fengol le fengol mi yalon ko manyanda ke fa nyanda ke
so bare fo yamira NPP la press release mi yalon ko ye wole bondi o manki grant no ka yitani ko nyimun yammo ada bankol di anin ciosano so mol ke la lunta mo bunya la pour yela lunta mo bunya o nyama mo manya ke la kasit in fact it le même fo wolem ko mo nyum is been exaggerated taken out of context wala mi ko mo nyi libundile aketa nyaming ani mol ba fo ka nyame manke kilende
no bari Ibrahima nyewo ni ajibe definitely nyinin anil duale montagne so that's the thing duale bijele adun Mustapha mem fodrong you know Gambia la image fango atini Gambia la image de dala because mol bebe conservation ko le I mean COP30 fela abanta saying Brazil I mean beka a very conservation kole kachanunje no Gambia definitely my son because ni ajibe Gambia jang you know fen jamale benun jang animal jamale bijang jatol benun janne solol benun janne bari wol be bantale say so men domandingol men tutambulu at least mol nyanta fere kala nga wol konsam kan kana you know wol be fight or ibebe disappear la. So government definitely tol nyanta nyanta malula le fang ka associate nyinto yemem for drong malo diala ya itol molbe yaje atata e malo receive so definitely hani atondi nyanku more ja dala je malba fola ko ya nati barole. That's it. It makes a lot of sense. So ngamera NPP la wodiamo, it doesn't make sense to me at all.
Biran, you definitely see all up like all shows, in platforms in somewhere in Lower Fuladu, is it? But in Fuladu, one of the chief told the president, I'm in this position because of you, because you are the one who appointed me. If you don't want me to campaign for you, then sack me. I'm going to campaign for you, to make sure you are elected. So the local leaders, like traditional leaders, in Opanyomi as well, the chief also told the president the same thing, that in fact he's going to mobilize the alcalos and other people, within those areas to campaign for the president in the upcoming election. So is it possible, like, to exclude these people out of politics? Like, they're not going to campaign for politics. We've seen some people saying, it is illegal for them to involve themselves in politics, but others are saying, no, they have been appointed by the president, and in fact, they have every right to campaign for him openly.
foog naa ne laajte boo laajte dafa am solo bu baax a baax pour ndax seefi ak alkaali yi mun nañ leen di génne si politique daal loolu dina jafe ndaxte anglais daf dee wax ne he who pays the piper dictates the tune. Tey yow alkaalo yi amoon na jamono daanaka kenn du leen day fay, waaye léegi président Barrow dafa commencé di leen jox xaalis yenn si alkaalo yi. So suñ demee nag bañ gëm ne ñoom président Barrow moo leen fal ba pare président lañ nekk di liggéeyal chef yi tamit dem ba dugal loolu noonu si ñoom, kon foog naa ne dina métti trop pour ñoom duñ bokk si politique. waaye dafa doon lu nga xam ne àndut ak loi si suma lii nii gis-gis. because lu am solo mooy kii di njiiti réew mi am na yeneen place yu bëri si biir réew mi yu nga xam ne moom moo ko dee fal. ministre yu bëri moom moo leen dee fal. IGP moom moo leen dee fal. waaye loolu minute ne su falee IGP for instance IGP lu président bi bugga rek la war a nekk, waaye dañ dee faral di gis ne loolu moom mooy xew fii si biir réew mi. président bi képp ku nga xam ne tey mun lay fal issues around accountability foog naa ne lu doy waar la fii si biir réew mi. kon ñii di seefi ak alkaalo yi ñu bëri yàgg nañ koo laam-laamee tamit borom xam-xam mi wax nañ si bind nañ si, am na ñu bëri sax wax ne ndax ñii di seef si président bi loi war na ko jox sañ-sañ pour mu fal leen. man foog naa ne problème bi foofu la nekk. kii di président bi njiiti réew wuta am sañ-sañ di fal yii di alkaalo yi ak seefi, ndaxte su ko loi joxee doole boobu noonu rek comme ñoom si seen gis-gis lu ñuy gis mooy kii di président bi lañ fa toogal, te dineen gis ne tamit dineen jéem a campagne pour président bi mu toog. ndaxte si seen xelaat mun nañoo gis ne beneen président tam su fekkee ñëw na mun nañoo génnee si place bi isiwaat fi keneen. te foog naa ne suñ place yi aada yi dafa doon lu nga xam ne politique wut faa bokk. yëfi aada la and it has to be handled as such. kon foog naa ne dina métti trop fekk président bi am na sañ-sañ fal lii di alkaalo yi ak seef yi alkaalo yi bañ ko topp.
So but whereas the president, when you're speaking, directly telling you, okay, before you ask something from me, acknowledge my development first. Then I wanna recognize sumala defal ak you know, like so. Muna lol mota alkalo, then you feel somehow threatened before you talk to the president. But I'm def lol. At least I have to praise him. But I'm a praise ko, let him feel happy. Then I will also say what is in me.
Of course, because alkalo yi ñoom seen liggéey mooy si seen dëkk yu jógee seen liggéey foofu la. te foofu la war a am tamit chef yi ñoom lañ fal si place yu ëpp place alkaalo dégg nga gox yi ak yooyu noonu ñoom tam seen liggéey foofu la war a am. te comme loo wax rek président bi dama gis ay jikko si moom jikko yu nga xam ne daal nekkutoon si moom. gis naa ne sax muy wax ne ministre yi yëpp at bi nii dañoo dem campagne ak everything kon 2026 daal sooy tuut di nga fi gis lu doy waar fii si biir réew mi waaye lu am solo rek ba am solo mooy ñii di alkaalo yi job security ak safety amuñ ko ndaxte soo amee job security tey nga dem ba gis ne kii di président bi njiiti réew bi mënul laa daxa sa place kon yow su boobaa di nga am sañ-sañ loo bugg a def nga def ko te doo si seet lii di président waaye tey yow kii di président mun naa xëy daxa la moo xam alkaalo nga wala lii nga chief nga kon su fekkee ne noonu la mbir mi tëddee dina métti trop pour ñu gis ñii di alkaalo yi am independent buñ solo comme alkaalo yi moom seen boppa wala chef yi moom seen boppa si ginnaaw lii di président.
So from your own perspective, the issue of registration, mooy affaire carte, really manifests in the store. The president will talk about it, his minister will come and talk about the same thing. To you, like, what specific interest do you think the president and his NPP has on this issue? Is it because ñu bari ñu ngi wax ne dañ dee allow foreigners yi ñu ñëw si dëkk bi ñu vote while they are non-Gambians and that shouldn't happen and all that? Is it because they have any intention to compromise the election, or they only encouraging their members to go and look for voters card?
Well, and that's why it is very difficult to fathom or to appreciate this meet the people too, because of the politicization of it. And therefore, as a result, sometimes you wouldn't know the motive of politicians and political parties. But be rest assured that the sole intention, objective of political parties is to get into political power. Some of them do not care how they're able to achieve that, in whatever cynical means they may do to achieve that. But obviously, nobody is a fool. When politicians and the president is encouraging people to get voters cards and the registration, the idea is to vote for him. The president is not campaigning for people to vote for UDP or for people to vote for other parties. He's not encouraging supporters to get voters card only to ditch the National People's Party. That's not the intention. So the intention is very obvious, that as an incumbent political party, the drive, the motives, and the objective moving towards the 2026 election is to see how best they can get NPP into power again. But mind you, it has to be done in line with the spirit of constitution and constitutionalism, because there are laws that define how elections are conducted in the Gambia and how political parties and government officials ought to behave in that direction.
Honorable, akamenda president wala tonyin ni dara santuro je dulul be ete diamuta no ka yitande membe den din kurangola, because president wa yafunum santuro bakele dulal to min yalon ko monana me yilla ko kurangol bita wolto ay kurang sambano, but ite you have some reservations about that ko kurango be modol yale bari ma keno ila bungol nyin kon
o tonyalete yalon ngamera nyin kurang ko politically dunta je dal, because ni ajibe ni tata santoro vile jama bije ibe polol jelaje ibe mital fango nati foyela bungol to ya fixed, but the next step of purka kurango dila wole inyanta bungo wayala le purka bungo wayadu it's very expensive. Definitely mo jama membe santo ta afford no la denga jele, because nga personally witness nga bundin doji je amariko ay electrician o commande pour wosa jibe ay nyanta jelle jola pour ka waya akay ko 17,000 be wala jola village jumale be afford no la. So it means ko wo mital menu bije dolbe tarla je sanji tan nim feng ite kuranga sotla mita bela bunkono bari kurangate dunno la house ni fundita banta ni village be polo jela be polo jela aning molla mitala isa foko nga kurango di molla bari kurango man futema. That's
so
the problem.
but the government ma also agree ko woman get la fault. What is their role is to make sure kurango mita fix it.
No.
But to fix it in your house?
Honestly, ngamira ni government a good intention sort of purka mol mako e kurango sort. They've gone the extra mile ke mako at least yela bungol waya even more yata ko ibajola. But ka tui bulodro it sometimes even unqualified electrician will be wole nati la. It's even dangerous purka wol nati with faulty wires and everything yela bungol wire as bungo si janino and others. So government nyanta interest to la kanyunu mako at least kurango si futela bunkono bari be thing definitely dol bije they will never ever get electricity.
So President Barrow andana la mol to them yuruwa balde na fe na nyim banko ko mi yalon ko nana ma si faje president fonko
bara man futa the intention
mi yalon ko wolem jawara ne nyame ate yurwal men na kajang wala sembo warta wala yurwal but han bi dol beje they see that Barrow is not performing so ila miro nyindo Barrow what is expected of him is he doing that walantuma no people are just criticizing him unnecessarily because he's doing it
Yalong development is a continuous process. Kafoko, because Barrow nata ate nyinke. Womo process li. Doli foundation ole set chani ate bina. Kabiri nata ate foundation ole continue. Wabe ole nyama. Ani watondi mo outside al natuna aketan president. Development besotola. Process like continuous process. Jawara menke kabiri ya jame nata ate tambita wala because Jawara foundation was set. Then ya jame continue. Baro fana nata ayatra ko foundation o set already ate fana me konti so take up for if ngamo alamin do ba fala ko baro yine ke atle nyin siro dada atle baro it's not his money this is government so it all nyanta fala ko mansa kunda yine ke not baro maro man fempen ke moli that's the thing so it all I think
so he, by itala to gauge like his performance is he below average above average or he's doing extremely well
No, as far as I'm concerned, this is a development. Even among the other coalition leaders, 2016, he would have done something similar, even higher than this. So, I don't think that's a very good way of judging things. Of course, there are certain positive things. Man say, that's obvious. But that's what Molly will expect. Man say, okay, well, definitely that is or sometimes I don't think that's necessary. Whatever they do is for the benefit of the people and
Mustapha, Ministry of Fisheries kamunda jemot blalti bi yalan ko je ko mara baka ni wati ngol kono to nyin do nga menje wala moy be jibo lol la kulli kam man sekunda nyin na diamo be tuntundi wala kam bari nga basoto la mi yalan ko mol si e fan na fan wo jela komondo nga jela e ko kulungol di modol la pour wali mo na fam bako na baraka mun ta nyin ta o man tara ka sen kanje bake mol la bala al halo be nyadi ani fo man sekunda ba kata kan ka jena na me fongol me be bako na pour moli mo na fela
abaraka bake Gambia la baba alhala man ye bala science intending ni ajibe Gambia la bama wara Gambia la bala waro tara nara because I'm 80 kilometers na malo meaning I'm wara kabo katon no kada ko baga kala banjurol so waya je ko min Gambia man baso do bake bare ni ajibe na bama wara nyawnya bara nema fenjama la soro wonne ma fanga wala tin bi ya cheni so soro ja ya EU soro jam yalla ngolo European Union ti in Gambia di lol ke bare honestly na ba ko no daraje tinyaro minga ke jasiara bakel follow na nyin kulun ko te am follow masakunda ye kulun wala fe na milia alon ko ntetan do ma bla je os kulun nyin imam fit fan katara jiyo ko nde wo kulun jela anun kulun nyim fan kulun nyim beria pour kulun nyim mam beria nyemuto fa wala kulun saate jama bi je wolbe kulun nyin da ku kan fa anun ko kulun ken sango nyika ka di molla ani silo manta na jele ya jambere jamano nte bota katon ne ay kulungol fenen adi mol bo tama ko neaji ba kulungol di mol la amage politique ay kulungol dan kulunga ay fengo be rasor ando kulung la warta ba nyim kulungol let knowing very well ya lonko Gambia la ba science intending follow nun kulungol kada ba kono le like 3 nautical miles or 4 nautical miles max ye jama so na bi nyande kada fo up to 9 nautical miles pour ka nyesoro anu ni ajibe wala tan accident jama kala jiyo kono because baton wolu e kan 9 nautical miles so 12 nautical miles ko di la pour nyew muta so nyum kulun ngol sa 9 nautical miles fay bu ka nyew soro bari ka pousse le nyaro do monde so ni nyum baton bal ka crash nyola so baton bal min fana ba sante ka jinan dume ni nyum kulun crash atin na mol fata atin na mol jarol tianda atin na mol for livelihood la bar man samman tra wo faka bi na ba last time kabiring EU la ambassador ko Gambia ni ajibe tol ka 500,000 euros ko di Gambia la pour kan chunata anin na nyi demansal am fisa wala nyi nyewol mi yalon ko tol ka ko nye ko yolu iketan na ba kono andemuru da ko ma na jibe ne la list ho jibe ne la agreement ho jibe ika chuna min bondi na ba kono ni a haima because wo 500,000 onyi 50% of that 500,000 wono ala simfa ala
kemo kemesid la talulu
ala talulu nyi pour kama sakunda ma ko lo wolon kamol samba ka karang wala ka training dila ka wonno ngoy ko de mala dila but ni ajibe nyew ni jama chuna dama kabir na haima ala value science because chuna hekla ala value science atara from we talking about from 13 million to 25 million euros. So and the world ka sai ka 500 dama and wala value mo world mo wo nye koyol dakeje so where are coming Gambia man tarafen soroka but again yamurun ko again na ba ko mbol faka Minister of Fisheries Benita Raje abala wata bagen the newspaper book I read wo office on because a journalist or Jacob first wall enemy they don't even buy newspaper fulanjango wo mu office me along we're talking about the minister man fisheries cooler and then man fisheries karang amalo among bade mok we're talking about the permanent secretary among the fisheries president among ba kulong amala nyeka mudanyami we're talking about deputy permanent secretary among ba kula and you think ministry ba succeed let's take sample from our neighbor Senegal
okay
the minister Senegal I nyeku along and among nyeku da malo she was working with civil society and in civil society le doko so alone na mina niti kebida nara assessment all follow okay aje komin na kulungol mi yalon kebe na ba kono manson ke ila listo nying findinde molma transparency nya I will listo be la findinde sero nga listo findinde nyinam fana listo findinde but Gambia la listo mo bukaji 2019 when I was doing a research for one NGO in the UK now I realized we have about 50 Chinese fishing vessels in the Gambian water 50 one more time what talulu time was now be majella sod la baba.
That was in 2019.
That was in 2019.
Oh.
Bimba jela sot la bako. And nyulla kuol ni ajibe ikale sino la dila. Yes, we're talking about the Chinese world demand, but we're talking about EU too.
And Senegal.
And Senegal too.
Yes.
Because the deal between the Gambia and EU is as terrible as the deal between the Gambia and Senegal. Because Gambia konafa ndola ba ni la bi jama la kanyimu do ndola ba. Half be Senegal. Be so ide ko ikada agreement ke in Senegal ko this Senegal Gambia fis an agreement ko ning alla ba kono Gambia no sotano Senegal nyimdo ke Senegal ba kono Senegal stano nyimdo but among ke only Senegalese vessel but hani Chinese kulungolo but they are flying with Senegalese flag is a nyimdo no Gambia kulung Gambia ba kono so anu Chinese only nyimbam kudole kanale they know very well ko we have what we call Gambia la ba mang wo security so we give what we call licensing of convenience niyo fo masakunda ka balamba ka wolo mu licensing of mi yalon ko hanu kulungol mi yalon ko tinyaro ke bandra ikane ka register je ka do ko ke even though Gambia lual bije loi kende balkaje ko min ko si par stop wolo nyindi ko kuluwo kulun kana ka register jang you have to hire a consultant for a consultant ora ayela first kulungo la safety jibe secondly ka jibe fo kulungo nena bulata e ayu kono wolo nyemuto min loi manda ka jibe fana mira toneji ka jibe fana kulungo nyinji malla tam but sadly Gambia Maritime Administration melmi yalon ko tolla kamara wala ka jibe ko wo bondi nyoto wala ka ke agent wala ka ke consultant oti wo kulunti yoli
so it means they are conflicted
you are consultant and the same day itolo modem yalon ke nyere ko approve so saying obviously there is going to be a conflict of interest. So wala mu Gambia the biggest problem. Na ba honestly when you go to the sea if anka disappointed nyew da mo bele nyew da ko yalon bi. When the last time na the president had Tanje I nyew linka mo nyew le price will fight. I can't find about ama nyew le price on negotiate maybe amira fanko wo ba nyew le price but that's the exact price. So nim president of sa come fado bo ko to sa nyew le price will fight. How can I nego nya sana no nyade? So today people no nyim fenke ballon kujal ballon like one fish kadafus like 7,000 8,000 just one fish. This is not a joke. Tired up bad to be today people are even like more accessible ka fonko sang ka chicken was and frozen chicken why we don't even know where they come from than ka chalos and because chalo mantara chalo ni ya be ol banda ba kono almost they are already over exploited research that and deal because we have 3 so-called fish meal factories in the Gambia daily they are processing we're talking about 500 tons of fish 500-600 tons of fish daily equal to and we have 3 Gambia we're only talking about like so 80,
literally it's like
they're taking everything and this is a fish that is most affordable most accessible and also it's like it is linked to our culture, to our tradition. Being
so like in a day it's like 18-20 chicken tank process.
That is every day. Like we're talking about 1,500 tonne every day. Never operate kaminta. One out in the Gambia we introduce what we call kabao sorong. So nyimba sorong is to help, but nyimba sorong is dictated by the fish meal factories. It was 6 months before. But sign Basron got only 3 months, 4 months we buy because even changes on the phone car for Nimu Leko, will the bad or even fishes officer Leko, so Malum Baba Yellow, will not necessarily about Wolf from Kalamada, meaning they dictate Baba Yellow. Yes. So it's honestly when it goes to neither a bad to be instead of and what and be every day you are hearing about Kulung to that back way. What Kulung those were fishing vessels before. But today they are like once I was doing an investigation, now I realized I had face to face with one of the smuggler, Minka Molsamba, and he told me, Mustapha, you know what? One go, I could mean the lifetime fishing in Bukasora. We're talking about 200 people. Each person pay like 30,000, 40,000, 50,000, more call you 200 people. How much is that?
So, but the kulunga me yalanko if facility you will provide more ko kulunga ni mamberia. Is it because Joran sobe wala mankeje wala ntuma ye contract odi bol mi yalanka mankela do what happened actually?
Most of the Gambian fish Gambian procurement wala in dealing more be no kickback kasi back. That become a norm now. So fisheries fana wala bije. Kulunga ndenya kulunga jele nko kulunga ye kulunga di min la kulunga batanjele kulunga ba burfood le kulunga ba sanyan le. But sanya wonta na nyinda man dami man dulaje kulunga ba borkan dami hanebi match.
Because kulung kan sama fo ya len jibo la di
ye fengol la di million ki man ko rek jale ndinke no ba amangi jibo ko masin kulunga la but it's not fit honestly mota ani wala ka do kon because kulunga cannot go be like it cannot go above 4 nautical miles wo time ko ba diket abo problem so la jiyo kulungol manko anu kulungol la fanam anu bini ya jibe ndol la molu ka bojan because nye ko so they have to leave ya Karafo Senegal Karafo Guinea Bissau just to look for fish kanana anu Guinea Bissau woje if you happen to find yourself in a wrong zone they shoot you wol man chahani la bad so ani ya jibe fanam mo jema katale la kulungo ko do jiyo ne ba afta mo memba nyin $10 amanda dollar every time asna ba kere even just last week carton and others moli mo jema la je military number na bilfar just recently multi the kulungo asna so I don't know where kulungo asna so mo kada barado e ka molje ba take and this is something that have been happening
so mo frewala
ba take so ni ya jibe na bada la karoda I say ko pour Gambia e nfona fa because basa mindino Gambia la siara baket like funding employment or dama no bondije domoro dama because ndola ba it's not only for fishing but tourism fana niaji be cardon gunjur sanya wol ecotourism village let but biniaji be wo ecotourism is almost out because ecotourism means that Gambia we have what we call 800 meters away from the sea should only be for tourism. But how can you build a factory that is less than 100 meters away from the sea? So there's a complete conflict between the Minister of Trade, the Minister of
that's like there's conflict between the regulation and what you see.
Yeah, and the final part is the enforcement become a problem. There was a time Uloye NEA enforcement officer or inspection officer King Kato. When I want to do that story, a staff from NEA said, "Okay, Mustapha, you don't need to do any investigation because you internal issue there." So Uloya King at other inspection on the carton from fish meal factory. So but fish meal one of the staff me I'm me back na bakajala ako wo na tele ayatara fish meal o mol bakono so you wulo bla banda so ndo do Uloya King it was on Friday but what a story mutonyal o tonyante o mamara mimara o nyindiko a private
allegations me alonko to that effect kafo wol bije sometimes ka wulol sukusukundi mol kan men kan arrange
minat na iba wulo bulala ila dularo while it wasn't working out openly working hours amanga coming suit all long but working hour but wo manke foloti if you are like in Nibanyim fish milk or wala physics research in Gambia you face so many problems. Today, I was working as a visiting researcher with Lancaster University in the UK. We are doing a research around this kind of pelagic fish within like West Africa. You wouldn't believe it. Fisheries, they don't even respond to my emails now. We did our research, the finding fair. Now imagine Senegal sent key and high-profile government officials to attend that like more like validation. Fisheries, like as long as they know Mustapha is involved, they don't. But it's not Mustapha.
I only hope they think you are eyeing on the position. Isn't the ministerial post what it's here? It should be only that,
So we have a problem. I think we need to look at the huge issue rather than personal issue, because Gambia, we go personal a lot when it comes to issues. Nimba bankola problem over. Let's talk about bankola problem, and when it have to be personal, so work it out of it, because
So before we come to the second leg of the tour, the president went round for the first leg like for 14 days. No announcement for the price of groundnut in the country, like the trading season. What will be the price for the groundnut this year? So most of the people are surprised because it's somehow unusual. Like anytime the president go on tour, anytime he get to Bara, that's where he will start telling people, I have big surprise for the farmer. By the time he get to Kuntaya also, he will be, he will announce and tell us, I'm gonna buy groundnut for this particular price this year. But this time around, the president went for 14 days and he's back and add extra 2 days or so to eat. And up to now, there's no announcement. It's only today I saw on the papers that 2 billion has been put aside for the trading season. But they also admitted that the price is not yet set.
Yeah.
So is it the president? He went on the tour at the wrong time, or probably it's because he's not prepared to meet the farmers at this time.
Meet the farmers. Maybe he does not have answers for them. Answers that they're looking for. Because in fact, the title of the tour itself means that the president has to directly engage farmers on their farming activities, giving them hope. Because right now we're approaching end of the season, and where farmers expect hope from the government.
In fact, it was on the papers the farmers in fact are saying, we want to know what will be the price of groundnut for this trading season. They are demanding it, but it's like the Minister of Agriculture and the team, they are not responding to their question.
Exactly, and this used to be a huge issue for them, especially those in the rural areas. And quite often the time, I come from a village, you will see farmers in the Gambia will prefer to sell their products outside of the Gambia using other illegal ways of doing so, because they are likely to get better prices with our neighbors than with that prices set by the government of the Gambia. So I think, like I said, the entire tour for me is a misplaced priority this time. I think the president is confusing with the people tour with an election campaign, which shouldn't be, and those technocrats beside him should remind him of that. So, but what you have is that ministers doing similar thing, doing the same thing that the head of state is doing. So it is really dysfunctional and disheartening to see the state of politics in the Gambia, because for me, I think it is just degenerating all the time. Instead of discussing issues, we are resorting to personality politics.
So if you follow in the tour, you will realize that when the president started the second leg of the tour, since the second leg of the tour, like he visited Fonyi, from Fonyi to West Coast, he started in Birikama, then in Busumbala. It's like the president is no more telling people about the number of schools he constructed, electricity, and since he came back. When he was in Fonyi, he addressed Yaya Jame and the No to Alliance. He was in Birikama, he addressed Yankuba Dabo and his area council for not performing well. Yesterday he was in Busumbala. He said their MP wasn't present. Because we have seen most of these opposition names are boycotting this store. Yeah. And the president probably, he doesn't like that. He wants them to come on board, speak on behalf of their people. Before you dwell onto that, you think these opposition MPs should attend this store or otherwise?
Attend for what? Why will they need to attend this store?
Well, the president...
When their very leaders are subjected to indiscriminate attack by the president, will you go and listen to your political leader or your political godfather being insulted per se by the head of state? I mean, you wouldn't want to listen to that.
Yeah, but that's the ideal thing. They should have been attending the tour. That should have been the ideal thing. But the unfortunate thing is that I mean, the atmosphere has not been created for them to be present. That's
exactly
because everything is so politicized.
The atmosphere is there, and one thing that I somehow like about the Birkama meeting was that the president started his speech wrongly. He started with a personal attack and then started giving them facts of what he has done. The latter part should be the nature of a tour, the roads that he has built, or the roads that he's about to build, the things that his government has done. So towards the latter part, that is how such talks ought to be, rather than personal.
But there are allegations out there too that the president has nothing to show in West Coast. That's why nothing new probably to show. That's why he's restoring personal attacks.
But that is immaterial, because the style and format of his speech in Notbank, in Basse, and in Fonyi is the same style and format of his speech in recent times as well. So that, for me, it does not, it does not work. When he was going on a tour, he has a preconceived mind that two things will happen. We will focus a little bit on the government agenda, and we'll focus on attacking our political opponents as a holdback towards the 2026 presidential elections. And not only this tour, expect more inflammatory statement moving forward, because it is a climate that has created confusion already. It is going to degenerate, and opposition political parties are also going to do the same thing. And therefore, that's why you have a dysfunctionality of politics. Instead of them also, opposition group focusing on what is viable in terms of politicking based on issues, it will be rather based on personal attacks.
So, but you think the president, to you, do you think? I think some people see it this way, that he has a point, because he's accusing the local councils of being an obstacle to his development. Probably the president refused to come into terms with losing the Birikama area council seat, and the entire West Coast, literally. He's not having. I think he has only one representative. That's one National Assembly member. So that's making life difficult for him to bring any substantial development for the people of West Coast. What do you think about that?
I'm not under any delusion that the president has to campaign. Political message is important, because it's what is going to keep him in power. But a lot of the things that he was saying, for instance, saying that this votes and this vote is supposed to be done by
area council.
I mean, what is stopping the central government from doing it? Okay, are you holding the people of Birkama ransom for the services that government ought to provide simply because they refuse to vote for you? That is not how politics ought to be. We have seen this similar trajectory, and I think the playbooks of Yajame political methodology is the similitude of Barrow. And that is the concerning aspect of it, apart from the human rights abuses or the egregious human rights abuses that can be attributed to Jammeh and not him. But aside from that, the technocrats, the very people who surrounded Jammeh, the very people who orchestrated and designed Jammeh's political methodology and approach, is the same people coaching President Barrow. And that's why I say there is fear and there is dysfunctionality of the state of politics in the Gambia, which needs to be seriously looked into.
Okay. Honorable, in Fonyi, President Odiamo da Jammeh la murula na banko. Yamera Jammeh be muru no la foroya la editorial kunu ngakarangile iko President Omanyaka Yaya Jammeh Jabi, because he's a private citizen, and wanyama for informal exchange between Barrow and Jammeh should stop. So, but Jammeh if you have a muru na. So, do you think the president should address Jammeh at this point?
Yeah, I mean, yalon the problem is the fair. Jammeh, I mean, I have said that all over now, because the conditions are not right for Jammeh to come. In the first place, Jammeh manyana passport sorola at this stage, because he's been away for more than 5 years, and Yalon passport lasts for not more than 5 years. Okay. So saying he hasn't got a valid passport, and I don't imagine Gambia la Masakundabe passport or dila Jammeh. The other aspect of it is, I mean, any airline see a risk. Knowing the implications of it. I mean, there are a lot of conditional among Jammeh favor Alanaja. Of course, as a Gambian, he has the right to come back to this country. And so far as Ima indict for any crime whatsoever, even though, the TRRC has shown that he was culpable for most of the things that have been committed. But there is no formal indictment, Nanata.
Nalbala wala bakit.
Yeah, baraka bake. National Assembly Environment Committee inana kana nung kunjula nung bare ila now nung je ama ujulu ngo COVID-19 watu wala. But ne ajibe Gambia mo jama mantara fisheries jakanko fisheries mo palasu kuma palati wala tinante fe ade amo bakasia. The only person minka diamo num back no National Assembly was Halifa Sallah. But unfortunately be Halifa Mandaraje. Diamo nying advocacy abake. But fisheries is something me along ko more nyanda ka diamla because ning aya tara amane ta kuke Gambia sa fanku jama soro no jele anun Gambia sa nafa jama soro no jele anun Gambia dingul ta konkola fanan because atale mun nabati so woku mara bakele purna but also ne ajibe expertise also when it comes to fisheries jang adango doyata ba because hana atara milfamba badaro milba banyim bada burundo la ni nyinen ka nye ko le ka falo ko nyene ne manta banna ba kono yow men ta kabin dol dinde ngol mo nyene manta banna ba ni ko
mo je ka nye ka julan na san
yo ni ko 5 years ago and inside nyela size banyadi le isafa size of palinda ba ko ndol follow ni aje ka fo chalo ko kombotura amange coming ala funko bar ala warolo but bi chalo mesi ada ba ka open extend that didn't all from a son card because of how you presume like ya wo ninjing o lo nyin sardinality wo it wo fala wo soto ko dara ba be ni aji bato to nyedo lu bije ka fa dol ka fa ko ba bato to kata konkorolu botafis wol mu nyellet min yalon ko dol bu ko wol domono but bi wollo nyelte min yalon ko mobe ka scamul ko lo so because nyin dangol bandal so akumada bagala pour National Assembly Committee ni ba fenko
so
expert sort
National Disaster Management Agency a press release le bonni ko tulole bonta ba kono so e bajala ko nying mu fennet mi yalan ko commando anana ketale but e kaga tinyarol le ke molla mbosol ning fenkote wala mi yalan ko ka nyew muto ke ba kono so bari ni ko tulo bonda ba kono le kibaro nyin ka dawol after mat nyim boka fem moy kote ke tell us the effect like tulo la bongo ba kono
ya tulo la oil ala discharge ba kono ay sembo soto bakel nyimmanke followed akeda men jama wala mandirande because depo bi jele nyinku o la manke bila kera ye press release ke molle preso like na press release ke was ma grupo mi alon ko some facts bi jele from GMA mol bi jele from National Disaster mol bi jele from NEA kabiri diamo siara grupo intolo nada e ka ko mi e press release on draft kan but kabiri ke press release draft ka adilo mi na fin time motal. The issue is banning atinya da second to low bonda ba. It takes a long time janning aka recover. Follow aka minke na fin da wolo nyin tulo be ka da den nim manko nyap ne manko be kay ko manko be finda ando nyimu tulo mi yalon ko nyewta mala no we talking about oya ando nyimu jun tulo fi ngola man ke nyun coming kain tulo nyi tulo fi ngola nyi nyewo nye bi je ma fon nani wo tulo ye the contact so ala chance of price of I is going to be very limited sa ko ne aji be je ma fon na ta no jelle fi sol bi nyol mi yalon ka time da janni ka move wol ni nyi do man ke li tol ni kera ne ala mam manta ke be ka fal bo sol ni nganyal ni wol bije wol ta domolon bi aussi be jida fal amanke ko ni ajibe ñun tulo yes ñun do mu tulo to mi yalon ko e ba bondi kan dula ka samma dula ra bonda ban ñi manke folode ba tulo mi fana yalon ko isinol ka bondi balcon e ka fay bi ni ajibe carton wolto bo solo ni nganyalu e ka fa bakel compare before ngamin soro no musol ya mi ka kamin soro kunu nganim bi after because 6 million be ke la discharge mi yalon ko ka ñun tulo so ñi ñe tulo so de ka fay balcon o jiba ka faro mi sa ko ni nata ñun tulo fi ngol I think ma sa ko na ñane kamin lo wala ñi de ko there must be what we call precaution measures kaje coming nin kera immediately aibo but nin kera fom nim mol min ba je ma fon e ma fo ko tolle baba tantinne erata simpala tala what are you telling people anu kulu wo kulu ye nyinke it tolle nyanda ka make so you kulu be bon ba kon they have to be fine they have to pay for it banku dol na jere nin tulo han kulu le kulu mba tulo bonde it like a tulo be clear five senior said even though it takes a long time then tulo be clear but it's your responsibility ka make so ko ye ba mentinya ya deda so jam ko min from press list da mala banda so banging naturally about time about naturally pour I recover domini fiber but it takes a long time janaka fal and yeah
so mol me yalon ko wolle ke muna fa nyin nganyal la ten kabiri nyim baye nyin kool commencer da comme kay ya fa nyame nyin isinol ka tudol même fay ba kon ila balu wol nyimbe nyaade
ila balu affect bakala because nyul mo mol me yalon ko follow num ikana ko la keno so nakol mo be ana jambe combo sa na costing ay nakol bela tanul almost ka banko sin ka dinko sin doro so mo li nakol la ble nara sa on ay sta famento ana nyun kokul fam no wala mbosode but bini ajibe ni wo fana affecta they are going to be jobless bini dara katon follow kan nganyal minister sa mbuke so because bini ajibe would la affecta and it's not only katon ni dara bolom fenyoro mi alon ko aba gunjur you realize that there was a time even geo fanka tone right. Yes, right? Geo, yeah, it's not even. I'm me back for the Geo for the Geo. Who later con ye a lot of bonye. It have been happening. You man can follow it. It happened in 2018. Jawo because minkera ikaho miego eutrophication na keda jama mi alon ka basia kan dolla ma kono wala the moment yenyim fengol discharge kono excessive growth of seaweed like an ofana ye mass excessive growth of seaweed because of eutrophication because abukol ko MPK fertilizer banyami ñul fana boy because jamon kuma banyami so aka nying seaweed nying aka triangle pour ay grow so e ka jele ko within short period na bada la move ko tamanoje so I work problem of ensemble. It's not only about kuna domoro but I work ensemble because that near fismilo jibe near operation okay operation of 1 month 2 months 3 months 4 months njaw nita bada to wala ni excessive seaweed growing kana and amanke gambe da mate because I did a story on that but near jibe bankol mi alon ko wala fana yin farm soro won farmland soro ira bada ma fongola wol fanan ka seaweed go soro because nim samana rana akela nim farmland na fongo ni wasla fay jiyo kono so kany excessive sea growth in samana pour kany algay bulum samana at the end of the day e kany fengol di miral ko kadela bada but nata rana wala ni Gambia regulation on you wala mo biggest problem with we have very good policies very good regulation but who are the ones who need to enforce it million de ka enforce wala ka sibake because fenno fomi alonko we dealing with people that has money one of the first male owners konye ko Mustapha you talking about environment it ka min dia wala environment when de ka min dia wala mbamol mi employ la akonye ko daily every day I spend jaka 1 million zila every day ala nyew nim fengol be kabira o fonye nkai wow nkai de ko so la konya ha then nara what time minister Gomez then dara Banja Dr. Banja then na realize ko in fact you look at kodo minjo man sakuna was less than 1 million every year so ikafanya ko they are going to try and negotiate kaje ko nisa a move no pro I 1 million every year and I laugh not coming we don't even value our resources and the reason why we don't value resources because Gambia man data sort of when it comes to fixed stuff so we rely on old data smila along good data koto low voltage and do it a bada marala no you cannot talk about policies when it comes to fisheries name and data sir and when you data you cannot do it alone so you have to partner with others but in jamala nyaka partner wala researchers so in jamala nyaka partner wala in terms of this but being need to come research and me along they are bringing evidence they are bringing proof ka je come anya ndabo kala ite wol je come wolumu maybe they are just for any opposition or maybe they are just
so
anti-government
if not a factory clearance 1 million spend no a day like omala expend the operational cost like wala profit margin nyimbe kala nyali
it's huge. Unfortunately, not data man but I have a data me along go in Masia online because I don't know why Masia, but fish meal export Gambia. Fish meal lo min kafin ti Gambia jang. It's just too much. Sanyang fish meal factory that is Nashim, Gunju, Golili Carton, ni bilanyo kay fish meal lo min bondi jang. We're talking about millions. But what why but look at that, the government ought to know because first, million word data in the intel, wala Gambia food and safety in the. So Gambia food and safety word data so obviously GRA yes food safety near word data so then it means the GRA will have the data because ikadani mineral porcelain. But why is it that in more will be quantified? They should be able to put proper tax on these people. And also, Iranian tax levy, the company like Africa encourage the Gambia is actually putting Gambia at the wrong foot. Lancaster research in Yeminga, even though research is yet to be published, but we're talking about Kabir and Fismil Lord Hanshan, Gambia lose about $1 billion US. Billion US dollars. Net coming so Kabir Fismil Lord and signed him. What Gambia lose? Yes, we're talking about Fismil started in 2015. So imagine
that's
how
like
much
9 to 10 years.
Yes.
That's a crazy amount of
yes. Imagine how much and what they calculate is your phone will calculate how much Kodoning Gambia ka form in the Mulbuka Miljo and then it had a guy palawo almost on a package ni kamindi nyula and interesting thing is yes jury wave there are so many it's not only one it's a lot so you can mean
illegal fishing as well. We lose Africa loses millions.
So illegal fishing in that role. I want to talk a little bit about that. Gambia and the issue is can find soul bargain if I go to Serikunda market and start buying maybe the cassava or potato. How I bargain prices. That's how we bargain price here. No vessel should be charged less than 1 million. It's not only about charging, but it's about telling them that next time I can be like in serious countries. 1 yemura euro, 2 yem the senior someone you kill kulung confiscate. But Gambia you will see kulung 1, 2, 3 senior sabaka lanyoka. And the price will can negotiate the price will can bargain jan. That is one. The reason why CSEPAT in Gambia la dilo mantano bage is because of that. CSEPAT, one of the agreement is that near Kulomota fine on you, some part of the fines will go to Navy to support the Navy for sustainability purpose. But they realize that fine will can negotiate. Ni CSEPAT mantara jang, ibuka kulungol jamin and we CSEPAT when they are here, Jamal like a Chinese all inform ka foyko CSEPAT bijan alkanda bakon. Jamal long agent told the Chinese all. Jamal agent told the new Kulumbale.
So you will be young.
No, they don't. I spoke with this guy who works on one of these Chinese vessels as a physics observer. So physics observer wa Kulungono me along Gambia le iba Gambia le toyal. But if you are paying those people 17,000 every month, your violation of the me along the vessels will be fined like 3 million or 2 million. A Lafaka report and the factory or the vessel owner gave you $2,000 or even $500, will you be able to report? And also, if you work with people, you become close, you become family, and then you are fully correct, and it becomes very difficult for you to report it. Last time, it's not long ago, there's a boy from Talinding Jamim Banda Bakon. When I saw that, because I've been doing research on fisheries for the past 8 years. When I read the news that I laughed. That is not possible. It's not possible. What happened back on it? Because what we call sea is very dark. The right violation minga happen back on abuka happen banda. Because mo buka taraji. But wo kafuka basalo la boida back on one ten tonya. It's not possible. Sal dula abuka kunta kande. There is no place me along keba sal je wonya finye boy. It's not possible. What happened for a father? It's not yet. And for me, I think government should make sure justice a time or Maria, because this is not the first time. If you go to Sanyan, 3 people died. 3 people. Because an alleged vessel, wole nyapite come back on a takije a faje. And that vessel name is with the government. And the paper is at the AG chambers. But how long will document be? For 2 years now, there's no justice for the family.
Sorry, that's okay. Tending Kamundambe. Minute dan taladrum. Biran, there is a story that is published on Kirfar where you said the National Assembly should regulate the format of the store. But the irony is, the National Assembly, the amount of money that's been allocated for the president, they are saying, they need to reduce it because it is too much. That's from 52 million. Now they said, okay, let's do it 50 million. Some National Assembly members said, no, it should be 35. They went for a vote and the majority, the 50 was subsequently approved. But they themselves, National Assembly, they're trying to increase their salaries. Every year in, year out, they're asking for a lot of things from us. From a new car, clothing allowance, but they're robbing allowance and everything that they're asking from us. Now, people are wondering, is the legislature, the executive and the judiciary are conspiring against Gambian people? Because these 3 arms, especially the 2, that's the legislature and the judiciary. In recent times, the judiciary has, initially, I think, is it in June or so, they increased their salaries. Now, the National Assembly is also demanding more, considering the economic situation of the country.
I think it is a crazy situation to see in the National Assembly of the Gambia. But also that's the disadvantage of having a majoritarian political system. In such, people tend to say that there is separation of powers, checks and balances. But if the executive arm of the state controls the judiciary as well, likewise the legislature, how do you expect there to be checks and balances? The principle of checks and balances, people do not understand it. But partisan, the National Assembly is dominated by partisan politics. Okay, even voting is done along partisan line, and therefore it's not on the basis of national interest or so on. The things that interest the National Assembly, they usually vote on it. They usually agree on them. Okay, but there is no justification. It makes no sense for National Assembly members to increase their salaries, and I agree with the honorable member. Bakari Baji, who disagrees, and I hope all of them realize to his position as well, because you cannot say that as parliamentarians of the Gambia, financially or otherwise, they lack the means to perform their functions effectively. What more else would you need for a salary increment, if not for personality aggrandizement.
You know what's a bit funny about this National Assembly? Anytime they come with an increment, they will say, you know, our colleagues in Ghana have been paid better than us. Our colleagues in Nigeria, in fact, you people, you don't know. When we travel,
Exactly, yeah.
so you cannot even get it.
Yeah,
Are you there? And in fact, you failing your own responsibility, your oversight. You are not doing well. Accountability is not happening as expected of you. Why do you think we should increase for you?
Gambia is not Ghana. The things that he was saying, these are the things that National Assembly members will interest themselves investigating. Then corruption in the Gambia. So the corruption at sea. That is what they should be focusing on exposing, rather than trying to increase their pay. Honorable Bayi said there are so many other public servants, civil servants in the Gambia that are earning peanuts. Okay? Why, as a parliamentarian, those that are supposed to serve the interests of the people, the constituents, because that's why we have assembly politics in the first place, indirect form of representation, because people cannot go to the assembly and represent themselves directly, and that's why the National Assembly should serve as an intermediary between the government and the people. But in most cases, they usually connive with government in almost all cases. And it is also, you know, disheartening that at this state of our economy, which is very debilitating and exasperating, of course. I am a researcher, a social researcher. The recent Afrobarometer data exposed that economic reason is the most cited issue by the people of the Gambia that government should focus on. The economy. Okay? And also when you do a study, it will tell you that in that same study, people want to immigrate. The number of young people, Gambians who want to immigrate to other places just to earn a better life. Boats are departing every day across the Gambia to what? Irregular migration. And right now I was just reading a report posted by one of the investigators who say that people from neighboring villages or neighboring states are coming to the Gambia to depart. Yeah. Gambia is becoming a departure hub to Europe. So these are the priorities that government and National Assembly members ought to focus on, rather than trying to find ways of increasing their salaries, which is disheartening to see.
And the National Assembly is also asking like additional 50 million for their ICT system. They said if not, their work will collapse in the house. Now, your working material is at such a state. It's either you repair that or you increase your salary. You cannot do that simultaneously.
You see, I do interact with a lot of National Assembly members. What we have is a reactionary parliament. A parliament that usually react to issues that people say.
And greedy people as well.
Look at the current investigations and how it came about. When they should have been on top of things. For me, I don't know whether they don't understand the TOR or they don't understand what they're supposed to do as National Assembly members. Because there's nobody that is stopping them from doing their job. They have the powers to do so. Because if they want to increase their salary, nobody's going to stop them. Okay? They may do so. But there are other contentious issues happening in society that should be brought to the limelight by National Assembly members. In every year, for example, Meet the People tour, okay, the executive is showing a complete disregard to parliamentary powers. What is actually approved and what the president will go on to spend is completely different. And since 2018, it has been increasing to a fold. What was approved 2024, they spend more. In 2026, what is approved, people are debating whether we should approve that or not. They're still going to spend more. But then why is accountability mechanism?
In fact, one of the parliamentarians during the debate said, even this 50 million is not enough. So you can imagine how much is the president and his people are going. And what they're saying is that the Minister of Finance is doing environment at his level, to sustain some of these financial burdens. So one will be wondering, there is a Public and Finance Act or whatsoever, Finance Act 2014 here. The law is still active and everything. So why are they allowing such a situation?
You see, for me, what I believe, you cannot claim to be living in a poor state, but living luxuriously. And that's what the National Assembly members are portraying. That's what the executives are portraying. I just live down the OIC road. When the president is returning from his meeting, I try to count the number of vehicles that are passing. Sometimes you wonder whether this is even necessary. What state are we living in? Okay, and that's why I've been saying it. I'm a political science lecturer. There is no political hope in the Gambia. Okay, since independence, the first PPP government, Yajame came with the same system. Barrow also is repeating the same system. Nothing has changed in the Gambia, and therefore we need change. Change is needed because the current status quo is not viable, and it's not a viable option to deliver Gambia for the greater good. In a democratic system, we even expect that the principles of accountability, transparency will be the key. Okay, people are saying about these investigations, let's wait for the outcome. But how many investigations have we done over the years in government? Nothing comes out of it. Okay, several killings have happened in the Gambia. They only attract political noise,
and you know,
at the end of the day, it disappears.
If I was wondering some time back, like you sanctioned an investigation and the outcome
spend millions
outcome is out. You, in fact, to even come a platform to discuss that kind of image, they were like, okay, you know, you have to understand my political situation and all that. So one of the National Assembly was here, you know, in one of my programs, and said, you know, you don't expect me to work against our interests. So I was so, you know, I was not happy with that tone, because what might be your interest? You look at the wider national interest that can first before your personal interest. But that's what he said, and I believe that's the perception of most of them in that house.
Yeah, obviously that is. You know, some people, they wouldn't even care to listing whether the position of government is in line with national interest or not. It's about partisan politics, and that's the most disheartening thing. Once you are in parliament, the focus will be national, and that's why still now we can't have a new constitution in the Gambia. Why? Because voting is done along partisan basis. If the two major political parties disagree, that's it. If UDP says no, it's no for their members. If NPP says no, it's no for their members. And therefore, what we have is, like I always say, political capture. Our politics is captured by the elite. Those are the top. The few, maybe 0.5% of the people have hijacked Gambia's political destiny.
So interesting. Honorable Jending, line old yell. Nakamunda 2026. But Jending, Wakamunda, ye, Iparending Yamari, Dr. Ismail Sise. You know, yeah, Yamari, you know, but Yamarojin, you know, Amandia, anyway, you know, so. What even triggered that advice from you to him? Because you have been in that position. Even you were Plazo, probably you could DJ let me along for, you know, I don't know what you follow. But I come on the Yamaro you bandia. When I can know from where I am, I follow, you know.
No, well, I volunteered because Naje Akadiamu Yaming, you know, I mean, at least I Yamaro neatly put a tone down. I mean, very kata more personality, personal attack. Mamera Onyanta Kela, you know, as a state minister, he should be very measured. I come for a be more address the Yaman. No, I mean, so Volananga volunteer, but Aboko woman dear. So that's it. Then
so, but are you disappointed when you were doing? I think you do it in good faith. Kabiribaki, where you okay? The kind of response that at a Mendila, were you expecting that?
Not certainly, because you know, I mean, near Jibenting, I mean, Safe. I was very magnanimous to him. You know, I described Nyaming as even better than me when I was in office and other minister. So, you know, at least I expected him to appreciate that rather than Kafintu Nyama kang accused of hypocrisy and all that. Anyway, Momo Nala Miranyala. So that's his right.
And he said, you know, you were incompetent as Minister of Information. Probably you were not doing like him anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. So at Mirawale Nyama. So that's it. Then not you know, Nyo Sabala Wala Dal. It's his right to respond, so I respond as far as I'm concerned. That's the end of the case. Yeah.
So where you think he's out of order?
No, I think you know, wala nanko as a nephew, you know, advice because tell us that, you know, I mean, definitely, and in life at least they have a tele experience of that. But you know, wala nanga advice, just voluntarily advice from how to deal with certain people, dal, you know.
So, but does that has to do with your stance on the government, your current stance on this government?
the doctor is using that to respond? Or
Well,
because you always put an opinion
honestly, as far as I'm concerned, I've been a critic all my life. I mean, during Jawara time, young arrest, young everything. Because I was criticizing the government. So, as far as I'm concerned, ninga fenje me alonko, ni mga jibe ko, ning reality manta. I always criticize it. That was since Jawara time. Criticize. So, I mean, I'm not criticizing Barrow because it's President Barrow la government also. Or Inyene BJ or Inyene. No. Naturally, I'm a critic. So, I mean, so that's it. I mean, I feel that I can always advise anybody. I mean, they're in public office. So, I mean, they should be amenable to, I mean, I think they should develop thick skin. Yalong ko ni mo FM for FM. Kana mo ko personal. Like, ngamen for drong, Ismail Asise Kabura mo lecture at the, University of the Gambia. Very people knew, very few people knew.
It's like if
so,
you should appoint Biran today also, and it's like nobody criticized you.
Not mentionless, because I public office.
He actually taught me politics.
Oh, okay. They advise him, but that didn't go down well with him. I think now he's the chief journalist in the country, so probably it's above advice. I don't know. But 2026. Ebe mine je kan akamunda baro aning NPP molla fintu kan meeting blade ka wala ke sumande blade yardstick to measure their popularity in the country. And any president and his people are saying. In fact, ebe moro na kumakon amplify ka ko 2026 ka mondale malam po penalty bita da goal chipa. Well, so kala wo ka chike nya bitila drong ya damfu. So what's going to happen in 2026? Because akamunda oppositional bet ya mo kan nyameng well man pare pro ikake kilindi ngaje momo ba fu kan den defon katamini esa fal recent interview la benke so mo nyamal bije baje kan oppositional Walmang imantara palasaro sign time Puruka President Barrow, but even though some are arguing that one party could remove Barrow in 2026. But it have minute jek.
Yeah, ngalon dal ate easy la dal Puruka Barrow remove because along incumbents in Africa. Adun tolbe ajele even this made the people to akamenke using public money Puruka campaign ke ala party and other things. So they are using government resources and a lot of state resources Puruka campaign ke ala party. So Puruka remove ate easy la. So ngamera opposition no nyanta wole jela it will fana ye fere ke to come together in a coalition. But so for ate easy la.
Opposition all niya fo ko nyanta kila kilindile mo boka balanko manta kila. But now the issue is who will lead.
Well, that's where the problem is along in Africa, in Gambia in particular. Momo lafita ka nyato, nyato ngote. I don't work possible. Nibe nalbe coalition kela. I'll compromise. Then I'll see agree on a very strategic way. I'll see more jibe me along ko alia miracle nining benyato. At least it could be able to bring everybody under one roof. Maridal ngalong ngakual jenyame. Ate easy la dal.
Biran, what's your take? 2026. You think Barrow is going for his starter, or there are chances that he's going home?
As a political analyst, I think as it stands, all odds favors the NPP.
Really?
Yeah, and that is down to the behavior of the opposition, because I believe people need to focus on numbers as well. Barrow's first election in the 2016, he won with 43% of the votes, I think. 5 years down the line, 2021 presidential election, he won with an absolute majority. The second biggest opposition party, or the party that came second, was the United Democratic Party. They have how many? 27% or so. Which means that for a party to unseat or to deject NPP out of power, serious efforts must be made, isn't it, to close the gap. But now, can we say that one single opposition party can do it? No.
But the opposition are disputing that result in 2021. They said, it was married with malpractices and everything.
Was that before election? Because I don't think you can steal our elections during election day. That's what I believe, personally, because I have observed the elections and the process and so on.
After the presidential elections, election full leketa, and the election full, that's the National Assembly and the local government elections.
Yes.
I mean, definitely opposition did much better. Well, did much better than the
in fact, I think
So
we have to pay attention to our electoral system. It's a simple majority as well.
Just one vote.
Okay?
Between, yeah.
Now that UDP's biggest political ally, who was a member of UDP, Talib, has formed his own political party, do you expect UDP to grow from those 27% or to decrease? Because I'm sure that Talib is also going to, sometimes we have to be realistic and rational and analyze politics also based on facts. I know that public opinion, a greater percentage of public opinion, may not work with the NPP, but for the opposition, they need to gather these divided opinions to form it into one single unit. There has never been a political change in the Gambia to the party in power, except in 2016. But we know the circumstances in 2016. So it's obviously you also need to understand Gambia's cultural and political history. The dynamic must be understood, and how incumbent political parties tend to enjoy state resources and so on. Without a united opposition, NPP is going to win comfortably in the next election. Because remember, the biggest alliance in the Gambia right now is the party in power. Isn't it? So for you to unseat those ones, first you need the numbers of UDP. They're pretty much very important. Without UDP, there is no change.
But do you think the opposition could also argue, like, despite that coalition or alliance, they were able to outnumber them in the parliamentary election, and even during the local government election, they have more popular vote than the NPP.
That's it.
Yes.
Even that NPP is saying, well, it is parliamentary election, and some of the people don't know the value for that election and all that. But
they can say that, but the dynamics for parliamentary election is different from the dynamic for presidential election.
Okay.
In parliamentary election, people associate with me because I am from there. If he chooses to contest in an election, maybe there are people who may not necessarily support his party, but they support his outlook because of what he represents in his village or town.
Okay.
So you need to understand these dynamics as well. That voting in the parliamentary election sometimes may not necessarily be along partisan basis where people identify with parties. It could also be that they identify with the individual more so than they identify with the party. So those dynamics also exist. But you're absolutely right. If we were to go by those numbers alone, I don't think also the opposition, which is the UDP that won the local government elections, can also achieve significant victory against NPP, considering the political division within UDP as well. Okay. So one need to understand that context also.
So to you, currently, the president, his popularity, there's an argument about it. If you are to win election, probably popularity can't. Some are saying, it's going down. No, he's more popular today than ever. But from 2021 to now, so the argument is the president, he failed to live up to expectation. Most of the things that he said, he was in a coalition government and all that. Now the dynamic is going to change the dynamic. But now government are still complaining about cost of living and it's like in his store. Nothing much has been said about that. How are we going to bring food sufficiency in the country and things like that?
Of course, and that's why it's important to pay attention to public opinion sometime as well. I know that hopefully we'll be doing some public opinion surveys before the 2026 election. But it is
I only hope so it's always disputed.
But also it is also very obvious. It is also very obvious that the popularity of the president has really gone down, because I usually go to Sofia and I interact with people. People are not happy with the economic situations of the Gambia. But again, you need to question what is the voting behavior of the Gambian people.
Okay.
Do we vote based on the fact that the economy is not doing well, or do we vote on issues, or do we vote on personality or partisan basics? For me, I will say it is based on personality and partisan basis, and that is why it makes it very difficult to predict change or alternative. Okay, in 2016 it was exceptional. We all know the circumstances, and even with that, it was very tough. It was the whole Gambia against one. Okay, and I also believe that Barrow has entrenched himself in power over the past 8 years or so, and if you want to unseat him, you have to follow the same trajectory as well. That's what I believe.
So, but are you seeing the opposition forming coalition?
I call them fragmented oppositions. They're very fragmented. If they have an ideal purpose, they have a vision, they will be able to do so, considering the fact that they do not fight over who is going to be the flag bearer and so on. But also,
probably that's
inevitable. But also, it has to be merit based. You know, as a political analyst, I will say it. You don't expect UDP, for instance, the biggest opposition in the Gambia, who believe that they've won the parliamentary election, to give up their flag bearer for any coalition to another political party. That is also impossible. Now you need to analyze the opposition. Who is in the opposition and what do they have to bring on the table? All of this need to be put into perspective as well. You're going to expect that a party that won 0.001% of the vote, they need to give him the flag bearer leadership of the opposition. So when it comes to forming a coalition, it ought to be objective, constructive, but also rational. I believe if they're able to meet these criteria and decide upon the fact that they need political change or alternative, they will be able to achieve something. Okay? Remember, the biggest success that President Barrow will get in this election, or the biggest gift, is a divided opposition. Once they are divided, that is a win for NPP.
Mr. Wardening, do you want to say anything? Political andum political mo betare nyin ka fa nyami defana honestly nyi election min kan attend in 2026 ning oppositional male differences put aside kajal coming ka unite there is a high chance ko Barrow sa win nole aning na mon la mentality fanan ko ntol buka karefa sa kontrol mi mbora santol ntol buka karefa opposition ndolla carte ya ndolla carte ndolni mansalo masana tan ndolni wolo anim fanon ko alale masake dinna ando nako lola boleje wala boleje son ndolni wolo wo mentality sifa ba aba opportunity la mal di kam barula woro ko la kana alla di amoto ka fo komi mol ko kuma kawol mem fojje ko kuma kawol fay mol kan ila nyi mid the people to nte la jeralo minde wala nyinde ko Gambia jam mimu problème wote wala mu hani modo nata pour ay continuer ka gagner mais ba sura bala même fola wala nyinde ko foye nyinke minke comme for example Kabir Barrow nara 2016 aka min folon aka malo bara bi a lo nyaadi le fo aka nyin kuman fo aka kamil fo monin babala wolle after the world and on the interesting part Gambia ja wala mu ika mo jale mi alon ko abo wuru na bar place o dia ne place o dia ak modo la so fon tol mba Gambia je kam ban wala men fon je ka and nyimu fennet fo mi algo because at the end of the day ko nye advice mendi na advice read like but not respond I was shocked so but yes
journalist line
yes na Kabir na respond first niyo ko yarale flanya na jël coming nam fon la put ko ninte yamar lo di mo yamar kendo amrun tanka o di am sa mba mena jël because follow bil iba nyim place oldo so ma be bola jël andum flanja kunu ikam min fonu fo yemin fo kunu bi ma lawon la ba wala fengole fale go son fala so nyim babal fawat anda manke minister da mari ida advice al gibe de sendo nyum mo mom yalam kunu dolla ni ba kukele kunu dolla ni ka dolla ni ka si black non dolla ka diam nyoka bar bi ifdana ma secondaro ikira mo kuto ika diam do tam yalam ka andu ni e bay ko deke ibna mur na mo la so nyum fenna fo mi yalam ko nyande ka hakilo dara bakare bi ni a gibe gambe be ta ganyami ndrobo da suwol na kono nta folan ka diam politiko la but mimba Gambia mo be ya fil kuno ni ka dalastan na bonde bi ka kemela bonde ko nya fa nyam courant ba mol ya bayda courant sabano it's not levar courant ndel lafta ka jio sabaya da ma jio ka jio sabaya na be la bilo ka jio sabaya was 17,000 ka jio sabaya 17,000 nda sa jono bar mo jela bi mel ta jono kaspa biya mo jela ne kaspa ka jella sabira like even moto ba milbul how much are they spending in a car bilo momo kabo carton kada banjul do call every day fuel you spend $1,000 so 1 month mo jelle you spend almost 20,000 in a month mo jelle ka jola nyimbankunga so these are things
from a factual economy so it's difficult to keep corruption in the country because mo jamal bentel kon we all live in beyond our means
absolutely
you know so it's always difficult that you know put your cool put together but number mi yalan ko wala ba screen auto I'll see what number nyin tanu le probably call ke program nyin to ka commander la dan tanu ta janning me fintila studio kono ka faytal be ya baraka bake men yalan ko ina nan programme ni do membo Mr. Biran Gai honorable Demba ale Jawo Mustapha Manneh ina nan programme ro nyamam pudunga kacha ko wala mi yalan ko wala be kirim banko nyin kan ka kuma yala pudunga banko wala ko kacha no nyama fan ka kacha ni nyala mi yalan ko banko dingol bebe fango jala kacha nyin kono le anno abakela fendi mi yalan ko abakela banko fanana na falde mo fennede mi yalan ko kuma yata bake but janning akamunde be namba nyin kala screen ro prale kuma droge line o nyin do honorable ibatara la ko akamunta kacha mi yalan ko akamunta ba kere wala ko Gambia e kara banko mi yalan ko akamunta Cameroon la opposition nyaton ko dun tango ye wala soro banko nyin kanja bari man sakunda banko dingol les futaro suru la ko wala bi be standard la editorial nyin jibe kan dami yalan ko ka même fo wala lankene mo nen konti boro even tot man sakunda ka la den kilo ko tilinta baki e lankene mo fana bi la ko bari jama be ji la barol to abuka finti baka je because jamal bi je même fo wala opposition on na banko kan November karotili warawla bari akamunda nyin Musa fo lokum fula ko lale man sekunda e bulo wuli ni kay tan ko wo Cameroon na opposition nyaton ko nyin abe nyim banko kan ne ko banko dingol nyante kalon mune mi la mi roti ko karo nyina sako ni nara banko ni banko tema badi yala karola to wol kam ko ne diplomacy
man sekunda definitely kabiri nyim futata jang don yanta kalam tan la mole ko ngalum tamale soto nyini na ta jang I mean tolbe yalon ne ko dai se problem ole be Cameroon wala na nyim bortana munan na Gambia choose pour kanajang atambita banku jamala so at least wo masakunda even nyanta proud la ko ye Gambia choose pour kanaja
okay ngani commander lata
bari
yes hello
hello assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh
waalaikum salam naam
nge kontam baake no
ngejo
Omar ko pana ina yindo
Hola, Omar.
Italia, mbe konta na bake no nila jubelante.
Ngejo.
Ani bella mabla sana. Antona.
Okay.
Yeah. So ndela dani lobe kilamenti banko mo na balafa banko timoje. Banko be ko laaren baake le baba.
Okay.
Yeah. Banko be ko laaren baake anu ko laaren nyama fanta fana kilim fana na ni ka loptano to ko laaren biye ni dana cash power samfana dunia ayo Gambia ko mu me bere balfa kon yo time interpretani lo kala mena ko mi albata men fokan political party me alam ko bebe nyata ko ko mai chetilil nga kata ni masakunda ta kapal bas dunia bita ka nyata den bita kan ko mo da mas so to mantilal besiar
okay yeah so comment sekunda nyanda proud la pour ka fo banku dimale
at least ni yep tambita banku jamala janna bina Gambia small Gambia so at least masakunda nyanta proud la ka itandi dunia bela ko nyim fela e Gambia la choose probably isafo ko maybe democracy membi jam wala na ta jam waranto asi fen maybe factor dol maybe e Gambia choose but at least wamu masala Gambia la masakunda la namoleti pour nit ñi nata ja at least itol ma ñana nukun namol la kabiri ñi nata ja ñanta fola molle
okay Biran, yeah, what's your take on that?
Yes, okay. In the case of hosting opposition leader, well, man mom almost lu bari lu ma wax waaye foog naa ne doomi réew yi Afrique ak foo munti nekk am nga sañ-sañ dem si réew bu la neex spécialiste su fekkee ne da nga dem ba gis ne yow safe loo foo nekk so xam naa loolu moo tax mu ñëw fii nii waaye comme honorable nu mu ko explainer rek nguur gi ba opposition boobu noonu ñëwee fii nii dañ war a isi leeral lan moo tax mu ñëw fi because gis ne ministre bi kii di docteur Ismaila Ceesay mu ngi doon si am na statement bu mu joxe mu ngi lii nii mu ngi wax ne Gambie duñ ko use pour place bu nga xam ne di nga fi ekkati fitna o di nga ekkati fitna si beneen réew loolu noonu gars yi ñu ne ñoom duñu accept loolu kon foog naa ne am na lii nii am na importance bu baax daal kooku ñëw fii nii daal ba pare tamit Gambie government ñu ne ñu ngi jéem a waxtaan ak Nigeria ñu jéem a xool naka la ñoo isee jàmm ak dal foofu noonu kon foog naa ne am na solo bu baax waaye ñu jéem a seetu rek ba xam fan la mbir mi di mujj.
So the issue of hosting him here, most of the people are not arguing around, but they asking like, what are the circumstances why he's here? And the government, what they normally say is we are transparent. In fact, the president will say we are, we are one of the most democratic country in the sub-region, or even I don't know, even in Africa. Sure, the issue of accountability and transparency in terms of governance. Most of the people, while they said they are transparent, people are saying the contrary.
Yeah, ñun moom luñ mën a jàngal si loolu rek mooy lu tax mu bàyyi ay réew yu bëri ñëw Gambia. Loolu man moom mënuma la ko explainal waaye opposition la mu def élection wane ne moom moo gagné élection yi foofu noonu dégg nga Cameroun ñi di président bi nag ñoom la loi moom la wax ne moo win kon xam naa ne moom si xalaati boppam gis na ne safut foofu noonu daal ba pare ay yëngu-yëngu mun na am yëngu-yëngu yu nga xam ne xëy na mun na see mun nañ koo téye tëj ko wala ñu def ko yeneen ak yeneen ba pare tamit ma gis ne rek si suma jàngat lu ma analyse mooy kii di président Adama Barrow moom tamit mus na jànkuwanteeg lu mel noonu mu win élection fii yaa jëme siisu ne du wàcca mu daw dem si bitim réew kon foog naa ne su fekkee ne dañ ko isi fii nii pour kii di président Barrow share experience ak moom xaw ma ndax loolu moo tax da xaw ma lu waaye foog naa ne nguur gi ñoom ñoo gën a nekk si place pour gën a isi leeral because ñun luñ fi nekk di wax rek lam-laamee la kenn xamut lan moo nekk si mbir
kamunda men yalan ko wolle wa jibiru la si call kino ko taminen line wala mi yalan ko fan wala number la mi yalan ko wala bi la screen do o number nyin call pour ngi dundi programme nyin kono dron number nyi mi yalan ko wala be screen do si watan wala call ke pour kaaje ko ngi dundi no programme o nyin kono dron kamunda minute dantan dron wala tutanya janimbe findila programme o nyin to je par ka fa mulbe mi yalan ko wala ba jibiru la ka fa la baraka bakal ka programme o nyin alka bulano ma nyamen andu wo nyama fan akamunda men fanam natanam programme o nyin do ka fay ko ya baraka yela hajol bula nyame pour que na ngasi nganda banko la ko ka bay yo mo fennede mi yalan ko akuma yata banko la ka mo fennede mi yalan ko fan akamunda akuma yata la bayri akamunda warole banko dingol fanan kala mutande ko wala mi yalan ko wolle be kering o nyama akamunda dro mina sero di la ngetel bula yake multi mi yalan ko sero di yalla janembe findila studio nyin kono yes Biran, that's the end of the program. Thank you so much for coming. What do you want to say before we wrap?
Baax na Jawo foog naa am naa mbégte bu baax ñëw fii nii waxtaan ak askan wi lu aju si naka la réew mi di doxee foog naa ne lu am solo rek mooy Gambie réew la boo xam ne su baaxee ñëpp la baaxal su yàqu tamit ñëpp la yàqu kon lépp lu ñuy def dañ war a fexe daal mu doon lu askan yu bugga ak mu doon loo xam ne dafa ànd ak loi comme ni ko suñ loi yu réew tënkee jërëjëf.
All right, thank you so much Biran, thank you for coming. Yes, honorable.
I'm content about pour participer in the program. I'm a program kumalem because along I mean more fele bedun kam political season to you know ka for me any football bako I mean transfer window le
yala ta yeah
wati ba mo la ko nyimbota party career so bari me men keta you know to be sa understand ko Gambia mun tol talete adun tolla as Gambia dingol nyanta fere kala dal be me men kala sa kinin kairala aning kulola and you know pour kanyo respect dal you know I mean Gambia abe nyamen abe control be mu family cleanity so nyanta behave la wala pare kanyo kaja fi kanyo nenga nyen politique wala mamera ajarta la dal
Yes, Mustapha, thank you for coming. Abarka bake Ibrahima nyim programme kumata bakele ko nyiafa nyami rakamanda ko Politic Kaacha am fener fengo mi yalon ka kumata bakele bare ka Kaacha fanan fengo la mi yalon ko wala ba Gambian sulakan wala banko sulakan
I think Gambians they like natural politics natural nungo is jambenum foreign politics you know by the time I'm done with this program oh my god I'm having like 100 missed calls you know I see like 178 missed calls so imagine like come Biran
when the political be kiri mol be diamo gang I think mol kala fi wala back bulo ko but it's good also nga nyo kala modande ko wala mi yalon ko wala be kiri na banko nyinga nga mol kuma mi yalon ko neutral cap dum pour kaje nga kacha na banko wala ko wala nyinga mol be ma ko la pour yelo nyalon la banko wala ko so nyama atel membe jibiro la ka fa la baraka back al ka programme ñu jibe nyama fo talata na la inshallah nga nana ni mo ko te nga kacha ko wala mi yalon ko wala be kiri banko wala ko nyama ala baraka back al jibiro kenu nyame.
Hello! There's a new update from your favorite GSM operator, AfriCell.
For all of you that have struggled to buy cash power beyond $7,000, AfriCell has done it again. The limit to buy cash power is now up to $30,000. Oh yes, $30,000.
Buy all the cash power you want from your AfriMoney account by dialing *777#.
Where AfriCell goes, nobody dares to follow.
It's an amazing offer. AfriCell mobile money just got way better. The threshold for cash in and cash out on your AfriMoney has been increased.
Where it used to be 10,000 per transaction, now it has been increased to 30,000. Meaning, your AfriMoney account, you can now withdraw and deposit up to $30,000 at once.
Cashing in and out just got 3 times easier. For more info, call 777.
Where AfriCell goes, nobody dares to follow.
Traveling has never been this simple in the Gambia. Oh yes, you don't need to visit the GTSA depot just to get a ticket. Just download the Yona Wallet app today and enjoy hassle-free bookings. With Yona Wallet, you can buy your GTSC bus ticket right from your phone, anytime, anywhere. From Kanifing to Dakar, Dakar to Banjul, or up-country routes like Kanifing to Basse and Basse to Banjul, Yona Wallet has you covered. No queues, no stress. Just safe, fast, and convenient ticketing at your fingertips. Choose comfort. Choose convenience. Choose GTSC with Yona Wallet. Yona Wallet. Your money, your way. GTSC. Moving the nation forward. For more information, please call 1124 or 221-1668.
diwli lanni maaro lanni
fop lanni
awa joni mi anda honno gerdeten e ngal ɗo sabu e ngal ɗo Ibrahima jonnal taw joni mi anda se yahay kapitiki ñawloɗen ha humpodire makko est ce que on noon e warude
waɗen no awa
ane kore Ibrahima ma ko to woni
mo Amérique
ko Amérique a woni kede humpitaki fiɓe musidɓe men baluwo ɓe andanɗa kala ko wawɗa wonde e aduna o si a rewi e juuɗe maɓɓe a jonnay ɗo dépassement o Gambia hara no weeɓi a yahata kadi taw ko mbuɗi ɗin no ƴawi walla no jippi ɓe haalantama ko kala ko falɗa ko rewi sengo ñamete ili nebba maaro basal pomme de terre kala ko rewi ɗon a hendoto hara no weeɓi kadi wona ɗum ɗon tum ɓe jonnira e mobile phone siko ɗum kadi laptop kala ko wayrode ɗi ɓe hay kasbawa ɓe wawma jonnude kadi sa fala humpitade ko weeɓi ƴettu Google account ma on joni data ton waɗa download app maɓɓe on ayi kala ko humpima e maɓɓe ton ɓe weeɓiyama
ka wonɗa wo e aduna o
kala ko wawɗa
a jonnanayi wonɗo ka leydi men Gambia ɗo dépense
hara no weeɓi hama si ɗum non fof no neeɓi immoɗen joni mi ɗowtama ka place maɓɓe jan
waɗen joni
iya heɓa ko falaɗa
waɗen kisam
Jamano Money Transfer Bureau de Change, your go-to option when it comes to money transfer. With Jamano, you can send money from anywhere in the world to your family and loved ones in the Gambia and be sure the funds will be delivered to them within the shortest time possible. For your convenience, funds sent through Jamano Money Transfer can be picked from all the banks and multiple other financial institutions, including Ajib Bank, Trust Bank, GT Bank, Mega Bank, Basic Bank, Reliance Financial Services, and Approved Services. Visit our head office at Bruceby opposite AfricMed next to Trust Bank Limited or email us at info@jamanomt.com. You can as well call us on 310-3050 or 310-3051 or yet still 733-0688. Our opening hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Saturday and 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday. Jamano Money Transfer, your most trusted money transfer service where customer satisfaction is paramount. When you think of a simple, fast, and reliable money transfer, think Jamano Money Transfer.